Dear students, today we are going to study structure of DNA molecule, types of RNA molecules, and the differences between DNA and RNA. And this question is not new to us. You already studied in biology, explain the structure of DNA. So in their 1950, the scientists Rosalind Franklin as well as Maurice Wilkins, they tried to study the structure of DNA. So they utilized X-ray diffraction technique. So what is X-ray diffraction technique? We used the same principle for finding the structure of crystals. So we pass the X-rays to a substance. Based on the pattern we are getting, we can identify what will be the structure. So the same process when X-rays are passed into the nucleic acids, especially DNA, we have obtained a diffraction pattern. So this is a diffraction pattern of DNA. So here there are two observations. One is X-shaped pattern. This is representing the helix structure of DNA. So DNA has a helix structure, so a helical arrangement. Then another observation is a black colored arc at the top as well as bottom of the diffraction pattern. So there are two observations in this diffraction pattern. One is X-shaped pattern at the center as well as black colored arc at the top and bottom of the diffraction pattern. So this black colored arcs represents the space between the nitrogenous bases. So within the nucleic acids, we have three components: nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and the phosphate groups. So between the nitrogenous bases, what will be the spacing? So this is represented by the black arcs in the diffraction pattern. Next one. So double helix structure, right? So double helix structure of DNA can be studied now. So this is a three-dimensional model. So the double helix structure of DNA is having a three-dimensional arrangement, which is proposed by the scientists Watson and Crick in their 1953. So according to their concepts, we have a chain of nucleotides, right? A chain of nucleotide is what? Nucleic acid. So when we take a DNA, we have a chain of nucleotides in the right-handed helix format. So how there is a spinning or how there is a spiral position, a right-handed double helix, right? So in DNA, there are two chains. The two chains are in the helix form. So we have two anti-parallel helical chains and they are in the right-handed position. So DNA has a right-handed double helix structure. Then three components will be in the nucleic acids: nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and phosphate group. We take the pentose sugar as well as phosphate groups. In DNA, what is the pentose sugar? Deoxyribose. In RNA, ribose. So consider this pentose sugar, deoxyribose, and the phosphate groups present in the DNA. Since they are hydrophilic in nature, they are present outside of the helix. So we have a double helix in the right-handed position. So this is a duplex. Duplex means a double helix. The pentose sugar as well as phosphate groups, they are present outside of the helix because DNA is surrounded by water molecules. So since these two groups are hydrophilic in nature, water loving, so they are pointing outside of the helix. Then what will be present within the helix? So within the two chains or two strands, what will be there? That is nitrogenous base. Okay. So two components present outside of the helix, remaining one component, nitrogenous base, present inside the double helix. And we have different nitrogenous bases like thymine, cytosine, then guanine, adenine, uracil. So different nitrogenous bases are there. They are the derivatives of purine and pyrimidine. So these two are present inside of the double helix because they are hydrophobic in nature. It cannot be present outside of the helix. So outside of the helix we have water molecules. So DNA is surrounded by water molecules since it is a hydrophobic in nature, which is present inside that. So we have a two chain or two strand. So these ring structures are very close to each other. So they are perpendicular to the long axis, right? So they are perpendicular to the long axis. Then what will be the interactions between the nitrogenous bases? For example, adenine and guanine, then cytosine and thymine, like that. So between the nitrogenous bases, what will be the interaction? Okay, so there will be the interaction called hydrogen bonding. One more question. So hydrogen bonding interaction will be there. Okay. So due to pairing of these two strands, between these two chains or strands, there is an interaction. So because of pairing of these two strands, we will get a groove. Groove means a deep line, a lengthy deep line will be formed. So we will get two grooves. One is major, another one is minor. Then what about the length of the helix? Okay. So when we take one particular helix, its length is 36 angstrom. So in this length, around 10.5 base pairs will be there. Right? Base pair means what? Between two nitrogenous bases, hydrogen bond will be there. So this pair is called base pair. So nearly 10.5 base pairs will be there for one turn of a helix, and its length is 36 angstrom. Then between the straight bases, so between the bases, what is the distance? Right? So between the strands, what is the distance? 3.4 angstrom. Okay. Now we can see how much hydrogen bonds formed between the nitrogenous bases. So in a DNA, we consider thymidine as well as adenine. So between these two, we have two hydrogen interactions, hydrogen bonding interaction. Okay. So two hydrogen bonds formed between the nitrogenous bases. So T double bond A represents what? Thymidine and adenine will have two hydrogen bonding interactions. At the same time, take remaining two nitrogenous bases, cytosine as well as guanine. Between them, three hydrogen bonding interactions will be there. Okay. So C triple bond G represents what? Three hydrogen bonding interactions will be present between the nitrogenous bases. Next, which is a specific, which is non-specific, right? So when we take a DNA, between the strands or between the stacking base pairs, what are the interactions? So there are two interactions. One is hydrogen bonding, another one is base stacking interactions. And hydrogen bonding is a highly specific in nature. So this specific association of two chains is called complementary base pairing. Okay. So hydrogen bonding will exist between the nitrogenous bases. We get base pairs, and this specific association of two chains is called a complementary base pairing. And the interactions will be hydrogen bond between the base pairs and base packing interactions. Two interactions will be there. Hydrogen bonding will be specific in nature, and base stacking interaction is non-specific in nature, but this is responsible for stability of DNA. So the stability of double helix structure of DNA is mainly based on base stacking interactions. So along with the hydrogen bond, one more interaction will be present between the two sheets or chains or strands, because DNA has a two helical chain. Next, types of RNA molecules. So structure of DNA we have completed. A public 5 more question. Next, structure of RNA molecules. So this is also a nucleic acid like DNA, and this is present in larger quantity. So comparing DNA, this RNA is present in larger quantity in the cells, right? So where RNA is present? So RNA is present in the ribosomes of cytoplasm as well as nucleolus in the nucleus. So when we take ribosomes where protein synthesis takes place, so RNA is present in ribosomes of cytoplasm in larger quantity where protein synthesis takes place, as well as which is present in the nucleolus in nucleus, very less quantity of RNA is present. Then based on the structure and the functioning, RNA is of three types: ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, as well as transfer RNA. One by one we'll discuss. First, ribosomal RNA, which is present in the ribosomes where protein synthesis takes place. So the ribosomes contain 60% RNA and 40% protein. So this ribosomal RNA is mainly used for protein synthesis process in ribosomes. Then transfer RNA, this is having very less molecular weight, right? So when you take a chain, so nucleic acids are made up of nucleotides. So when you take a chain of nucleotides in tRNA, there will be 73 to 94 nucleotide units. One more question. So in a single chain, around 73 to 94 nucleotide units will be there. Then what is the role of transfer RNA? It carries amino acids to the ribosomes. Okay. So for protein synthesis, we need amino acids. Amino acids are combining together by peptide bond to form a protein. So in ribosomes, for the protein synthesis, amino acids are required. So tRNA is carrying the amino acids to the site where protein synthesis takes place on ribosomes. Next, messenger RNA, and it is having very small quantity. Lifetime is very less. This is having very short lifetime, and this is present as a single stranded. When we take DNA, double stranded helical structure, right? Double helix. But in RNA, a single strand only will be there. Then what is the synthesis of messenger RNA? So messenger RNA is synthesized on DNA. The process is called transcription. One more. Transcription is the process of synthesis of mRNA on DNA. Next, the role of messenger RNA is to carry genetic information from DNA to the ribosomes. So in ribosomes, protein synthesis takes place. mRNA carries genetic information from DNA to the ribosomes, and the process is called translation. Okay, so this is the role of messenger RNA. Next, differences between DNA as well as RNA molecules. So 5 more question. The DNA molecules present in the nucleus, mitochondria as well as chloroplast. As we studied, RNA is present in the ribosomes, cytoplasm as well as nucleolus. Then what type of pentose sugar is present? What type of pentose component is in the nucleic acid? So in DNA we have deoxyribose pentose sugar. In RNA we have ribose type of pentose sugar. Then what type of base pairs will be there? Between what nitrogenous bases, hydrogen bonding interaction will be there, right? Hydrogen bonding as well as base stacking interactions. So adenine and thymine or thymidine, then guanine and cytosine. So these two type of interactions are possible. In case of RNA, what type of interactions? Adenine and uracil, then cytosine and guanine. So between the bases, we have mentioned a double bond or a triple bond, which is not a covalent bond, to understand the hydrogen bond interactions. Next, it is a double helix structure. So it has a two sheets or chains or a double stranded molecule. RNA is a single stranded molecule, and lifetime of DNA is high. RNA is short lived one. DNA is stable and cannot be hydrolyzed easily by the alkalis, but RNA is unstable nature, so can be hydrolyzed easily by the alkalis. Then replication process. So this is common. DNA replication is common. So it can replicate itself, but RNA cannot replicate itself. It has to be formed on the surface of DNA. Okay, so it is synthesized on DNA, so it won't replicate itself. So these are all the differences between DNA and RNA molecules. So with this, we complete today's portion. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about DNA fingerprinting, 5 more question. Then biological functions of nucleic acids. Finally, last concept, hormones. So that we will discuss on Monday. Thank you.